Hi, I'm Bianca and I've been asked to make a 20-minute meal. So I'm making pork and mushroom with a creamy sauce with rice and cabbage on the side. So the ingredients I'm using is I've got a pork fillet here. I've got mushrooms. I'm using portobello mushrooms, but you can use any mushrooms, chestnut mushrooms, white button mushrooms. I've got some mustard. I'm using French mustard because that's what I've got in my fridge, but you can use whole grain or whatever you prefer. I've got half a lemon, some creme fraiche, basmati rice, again you can use any type of rice, seasoning, I've got salt and pepper, and I have a spring pointed cabbage. Okay, so to prepare the pork, I'm going to remove this sinew, which it can be quite chewy once it's cooked. You literally stick your knife tip in and then pull it one side and then lift it and pull it through the other side, and you just keep doing that until you've got rid of it all. So to prepare the pork, I'm going to cut it into thin slices. I'm then going to cut each slice in half to make little strips. Okay, so I filled this big pan with water, which I'm now going to turn on for the rice. And I'm going to add a knob of butter to the pork pan. You can use oil, however I find that butter gives you a nice golden colour on the meat. Once the butter is really hot, I'm going to add the pork. Now pork is a really tender meat, so it really doesn't want very long in there, otherwise it will go chewy. So you just need to keep turning the pork over, and once it's golden but not overcooked, we're going to take it out and put it in a bowl while we cook the mushrooms. So the pork is almost done, as you can see. So I'm going to take it off now because we will finish cooking it later in the sauce. And I'm going to put this pan back on and add the mushrooms. Okay, so I've added the mushrooms and I'm going to add some seasoning now. Put some salt. And pepper, and the rice water is almost boiling, so I'm going to add now some olive oil to the pan for the cabbage, and I'm going to add the cabbage. With some salt and pepper, and I'm going to turn that onto a medium heat. So I'm adding some salt and pepper to the cabbage, and a tiny splash of water. So the water is now boiling, so I'm going to add the rice. I'm going to give it a stir. Turn it down a little bit. And this rice takes 11 to 12 minutes to cook, but I'm going to put a timer on for 9 minutes, and I'm going to allow it to steam for the last couple of minutes in the pan, which makes it nice and fluffy. So I'm just stirring the mushrooms, trying to get them nice and cooked down, and I'm also going to give the cabbage a stir to make sure it doesn't burn and stick to the bottom. So as you can see, the mushrooms are nice and brown now. I'm going to add a little bit of water. And you could add some wine if you've got some wine in the fridge, or some sherry or masala at this point. I'm going to add the creme fraiche. And just turn that down a little bit so it's simmering now. Stir that around. Add the mustard. And already it's starting to look like a delicious sauce. So you want to test the seasoning, and if it needs it, a little bit more salt and pepper. Mine does, so I'm going to add. Just let that simmer away. The cabbage I've turned right down because it's done. I just want to keep that warm, and the rice is a little bit high. Okay, so the rice is done. I'm going to take it and pour it into a sieve. And then with the residual water, put it back in the pan and put the lid on top, and it steams the last few minutes. So while the rice is steaming, I'm going to put the pork back into the sauce to do the last few minutes of cooking, because pork has to be well cooked. And I will also add lemon juice. So the rice has been steaming for a couple more minutes, so that's ready to go. The pork is now cooked and the cabbage is done, so ready to serve. And here's the finished product. Bon appetit. And now I nominate Lizzie Wilch.